Self-proclaimed Master Sniper ED, I have a mission for you of the utmost importance. A high-value target, commonly referred to as Kevin, has been kidnapped. The group allegedly responsible for kidnapping Kevin is Task Force 69, led by the man in the white lab coat, Flannel Daddy. The object of your mission is to incapacitate Task Force 69 and bring back home Kevin. You have 48 hours to complete the mission.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Elliott Delp, and today we're going to be doing a build. So I know you guys have been wanting to see a lot of builds, so I was like, what would be the best thing? Recce, of course, hot topic right now. So we did a budget Recce build, sub $1,000. So before we kind of go over everything, I want to give a full transparency for all the parts on this Recce build. I looked at a bunch of different companies I've worked with and then some I haven't worked with before, and I was like, what would be a good parts for the Recce? I found what I wanted first. Then I reached out to the companies and I was like, hey, I want to use this for a Recce build. I think it would be good. Explain my whole thought process. So all the stuff that was sent out because I was looking for that specific part. So big thank you to Monstrum Tactical, Sosa, Diamondback Firearms, and Radical Firearms for sending out all this stuff for the build, and then also 1021 Tactical for the sweet sling. I've actually been using this sling a while. This is not specific to this build. It's just one I like. So full transparency right there. All this stuff was sourced that away. So how this video is going to work, I'm going to talk about kind of Recce in general in the beginning, and then I'm going to go over the full parts of this build in more detail, kind of why I chose what I chose, how it performed, and then I'm going to go over some modifications, some things I think I would do a little bit differently moving forward on this budget Recce build. So let's go right ahead and start talking about Recce. But before I do, I would like to take a second to tell you guys about Basement Operator Company. Basement Operator Company is my apparel line. As of right now, you're watching this, it is live. Link is in the description, basementoperator.com. So you can go check it out. It's got all kinds of sweet stuff. We did a lot of prep for this. We bought all kinds of samples, made sure that everything we were releasing was good quality. I've been wearing this stuff for like 3 months now, if you're up on it, and I'm very pleased with it. So if you don't mind, go check us out down there. Pick up something. It helps support the channel, and it's pretty comfy. I mean, we got a tactical line, we got a comfort line. Like, so if you want to go out in the range, you get a tighter fitting shirt than more the tactical shirt. Or if you want a comfy shirt to just lay around in, you know, to get the comfort shirt. And also we're dropping all kinds of stuff like on a consistent basis. So we're going to be coming out with new designs. So make sure to follow our Instagram, follow Basement Operator Company on Instagram, and then follow my Instagram to stay up to date on all the new designs we're dropping. So pretty sweet stuff. We're really excited about it, and we hope you guys enjoy it, and we really appreciate all the support you guys give. So without further ado, let's talk about Recce. So Recce is like a super hot topic right now. I mean, the search results are crazy. You can look it up on Google or whatnot, and you can see how many times people search it. People love the word Recce. It's a hot topic. General purpose rifle, kind of the same thing. I'd put those in the same category. I mean, you can call it what you want. Essentially, it is how you set up your rifle for a certain task, whether that be recon or kind of like mid to long range shooting, or I think a Recce build is more of a do-all kind of build. It can mean different things to different people, but in general, it's a 16-inch carbine with an LPVO of some sort. I think that's kind of like the best way to capture it. So we have this one, but we also have this one right here. This is a 16-inch with a suppressor, LPVO. I would call this a Recce. We have this one right here, 16-inch. This one has a little bit longer rail. Call this one a Recce as well. So, I mean, it's broad, and it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So don't get too butthurt over the whole naming convention. I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of how I'm defining Recce, and I'm no special forces. I'm not law enforcement. I'm just going over kind of a good build for the money if you want to set up your rifle in a Recce configuration. So let's kind of talk about the parts that were chosen, why I chose them, and then the overall price point of it all. Because I think I've set up a rifle really decently for $1,000, okay? I mean, and what more can you want, especially if you're balling on a budget? I mean, we got all kinds of nice stuff on this rifle. So, without further ado, specs. So we have a Diamondback Firearms lower. This is one I bought, or not bought, Diamondback did send it out, but the whole thing is like 150 bucks. So you got the lower, $50 lower, you get a parts kit, and that parts kit, $99. So I mean, you're looking at 150 bucks for a lower receiver, and you can get this lower for actually less, since this has the M4 stock on it instead of like a nice, well, nice Magpul stock. They have the CTR, which comes at right at 100 bucks. I think if you get the M4 one, it comes at like $79. So that's even a little bit cheaper. So you're running 150 bucks for the lower. Okay, and then we have a Radical Firearms 16-inch upper receiver. This one does have the 13-inch rail. So the reason I went with this one is because the 13-inch rail, I mean, I was trying to conserve a little bit of weight, and we'll talk about that later and some of the things I would change, but that's why I went with the 13-inch rail, 5.56. So caliber is another important topic. You got to think about availability. You got to think about the distance you're shooting. Here in rural Southwest Virginia, we're not pushing more than 300 yards very often unless we're really trying. I went with the 5.56 because, I mean, it's available. It's easy to carry a lot of weight or a lot of ammunition. Like you can pack on ammo all day and tote it through the woods. 5.56 is very available and easy to carry, so that's the reason I chose this caliber. The upper receiver is fairly affordable, so if you follow me on Instagram, I'm constantly posting Radical Firearms deals. Primary Arms, for some reason, loves Radical Firearms, and I don't blame them, but it's like very consistently they have really good deals, and I'm always throwing them up. I think the best I've ever done is like $120 for an upper without a bolt from Radical, and that's insane. So make sure to follow me there to stay up to date, because I post it. But this upper right here, this one, I think comes in around $400, $450 at max. So for the whole gun, you're looking at $600 for a very well-built, good shooting 5.56 AR-15. So that's kind of my thought process and my scheme on the upper receiver and the lower. So we went really budget with the lower. I mean, we got less than 150 bucks, and then $400 to $450 in the upper, so you're sitting $600. Now, optics. So this optic right here is the Monstrum Tactical second focal plane 126 LPVO. Recently did a video on it. Runs about 150 bucks. Comes with the mount. Comes with pop-out turrets, so that's really good, and they track really well. I recently did a video on that. Illuminated reticle. It has a nice little reticle in it. I mean, it's smooth, it's easy to use, it's lightweight, it's affordable for 150 bucks. I've done a ton of shooting with it. Big shout out to Kerr Ammo, another sponsor of the channel. They sent out a bunch of 5.56 for this video, and they're huge supporters, and we love them to death. And I mean, we have done our due diligence with this rifle. So we've got a lot of rounds through it. We're probably sitting at every bit of 400, 500 rounds in total from their ammo and my own ammo. I mean, we've been doing our due diligence. I mean, it's been doing good through steel and pretty much everything. So really been pleased with the optic. It's done well. And then, so I was like, well, what else do you get when you put on your Recce? So I've been seeing a lot of stuff, and this is the first time I've ever ran it this way, is a micro red dot. So a Canon micro red dot. This is from Sosa. If you're not familiar with them, go check them out. They're CMC's optics brand. So CMC has Sosa and then Sand Tactical. They're all kind of on the same, they're all owned by the same company. So really nice micro red dot. I mean, it's affordable. It's like $200, and I got a little Monstrum Tactical mount for it. And I didn't know how it was going to perform because, you know, you got to be careful with the cheaper stuff like the LPVO. It's a cheaper mount, cheaper optic, but it ran really well, and I was fairly impressed with it. So I was like, I'll get a little Canon mount for it, and it's worked really well. Held zero really good. I mean, you dial it in up here. I've ran this micro red dot a lot on the Glock, so I've been fairly impressed, and it's so far done really good on the little Recce build. Okay, so you're sitting at probably close to $900 once you do the $150 and then the $200 and the $600. It's around $900, and then you've got, I have a little grip right here for like a little hand stop. I actually got that in a tack pack. I'm not sure what that costs. I would venture to say about $50 at the max. I know you can get them a lot cheaper, like this BCM right here. This is a $20 hand stop. Love this thing. So if you want to get a hand stop, I'd recommend the BCM. I'm not quite sure what this one is. I've just run it on it and talk it up for what it will. So then moving up on the rail, we have a bipod, and I went with a bipod, and I didn't go with a light. Recce builds tend to be very mission specific, and I just don't feel the need to run a light on this one. I have a light on this one right here. I thought this one would be more of like a spend a lot of time prone, or you know, built up on something, preparing to shoot, you know, one of those deals. So that's how I've chosen to configure this. You can very much run a light, maybe get a bipod that sits on the bottom and not mount directly to the rail, run a light canted up here, would work great. But you know, Recce tends to be like reconnaissance, hiding, not being very you know, out in the open. Maybe a light's not very useful because you don't want to be flashing it and giving your position away. I mean, it's really up in the air. It's user preference. So that's pretty much the whole get up. We are running a 1021 tactical sling right here. This is about a $50 sling if I do remember. And it's pretty great. It's got the quick adjustments. So actually I've got it in a bind right now, but you can just pull and adjust however you need to. I really like the sling a lot. Big shout out to them. They're actually local to me, so they're pretty awesome. But in the general sense, that's the whole build, and you're coming right in at $1,000. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with that at all. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. And it's performed great. I've been very pleased with it, even through the spray painting process. And that's another thing I want to talk about. When you're setting up your Recce, you need to consider, and Old Grand Thumb talks a lot about it, what environment you're going to be in and how this rifle is going to be used. So we here in good old Southwest Virginia, we went with green, brown, and with a tan base. So it's not quite like the FDE rifles we have here. It's a little bit darker, and I think it does good for about everything that you can come into contact. So when it starts getting more fall-like and you get more browns and yellows, this will still do pretty good. But here in spring, you still got a little bit of green and a little bit of brown to kind of blend in with, you know, grass, or if you're in the woods. I mean, it's kind of, I tried to do as much as I could to match all seasons here, and I'm very pleased with it. So you got to make sure you hit her with a good rattle can. Don't be afraid to rattle can it. Just tape it up real good. Go buy 2 cans of spray paint, hit it with a base coat, and then hit it with whatever you want to like accent. So you see we got a good green stripe right here. I didn't really want to spray paint the micro, and I like the black accents as well. It kind of breaks it up a little bit. So really impressed with this little rifle, and I think it does very good, and you can't go wrong with it. Radical Firearms, I mean, their uppers have treated me really well. I have, I think, 2 or 3 of them at this point, maybe 4. And I mean, all of them have just been lights out. So have been very happy with it. Now, some of the things that I would do differently. I'm not so sure. I'm a big fan of the bipods mounted to the rail. I think I would do a kind of like bottom mounted bipod. That's just me personally. I know some very expensive bipods out there are mounted to the rail, and I just think it takes up more space than it needs to. One thing, if you were pushing over $1,000, I really recommend a suppressor. It helps, it keeps you more covered. You're not giving away your position as easily. There's no flash with the suppressor. It also dampens that crack. So that's one thing to think about. Maybe if you're going to do a $2,000 build, that's one thing to consider. That's, I would say, about it. One thing I don't like about it, the trigger in this is just a normal trigger. I would probably splurge a little bit and buy a CMC trigger just because I like them a lot. And nice triggers always nice to have on your recce or general purpose, whatever it may be called. There's some things I would change, but for the $1,000, I think you can do a lot, especially if you ball on a budget. Wait for the right things to come into play, and wait for the right sales to come on. And know what you're doing too. Make sure to get some advice from people like me or anybody really in the firearms industry. DM people. People DM me all the time looking for help. Don't be afraid to DM people. Worst they can do is ignore you. I really doubt they're going to hate on you if you're asking general questions. So just reach out to people. You'd be surprised. Okay. So I think that about is going to do it for the video. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and follow me and Basement Operator Company on Instagram. We're really excited about that here, and we're hoping to carry it on. Remember, link is in the description, basementoperator.com. Go check us out, and I think we'll wrap it there. We'll see y'all in the next one. As always, take someone outdoors. Peace. It's over, Flannel Daddy. Kevin's safe. The world's about to be a better place. Prepare to meet your maker.
Wait! What was the total cost to your build?
Sub $1,000.
Yeah.
That was easy. Sir, Kevin's been saved and Flannel Daddy has been incapacitated.
Good. The future's been saved.